Call me Ellen.
Okay, Ellen. Call me Doug. Who are you guys?
Your shipmates.
Yeah. These are our shipmates. These are our shipmates, the Anyone Ensemble.
And this is our show, boldly launched upon the deep, music and stories inspired by Moby Dick. Today we're presenting something to you that's part chamber music concert, part radio show, and part book club. And the book is Moby Dick.
I'm curious, how many of you have not read the book? Go ahead and raise your hands if you have not read the book. Very good, very good. Okay, hands down. Raise your hand if you've read even just a page. Just a chapter, just a page, all right? Keep them up, keep them up, keep them up. And if you finish the book, keep them up. Good. If you've read it more than once, keep them up. All right, you're our winner tonight, sir. That's excellent. So now I do that because there are a couple things. We want you to know that even if you haven't read the book, and that's most of you, or at least half of you, you're still warmly invited to enjoy this show. And I can prove it to you. So, Ellen.
Yes.
How many times have you read the book?
Let's just say I've read a lot about the book.
So you still haven't actually finished the book?
Nope.
So there you go. For those of you who haven't read the book, here is a super short synopsis. Here we go. Are you ready, Ellen?
I'm ready.
So first we meet Ishmael. And the first sentence of the book is this: call me Ishmael.
Ishmael is the narrator of the story. He's the one who makes sure we get all the details of the plot, but he's also a lot more than that.
Ishmael is the interpreter of the whole story. He's the one that makes sure you know everything you need to know about how whaling worked in the middle of the 19th century, so you can understand just how strange it actually was for there to have been somebody like Captain Ahab.
So that brings us to Ahab. His nickname is Old Lightning, very famous character. He's the captain of the ship on which most of the book takes place, the Pequod. And one of the most important things to know about Ahab is that Moby Dick bit off his leg in an earlier encounter.
Indeed, and Ahab, as you probably know, did not take it very well. Once all the sailors had signed on for what would have probably been a journey of 2 to 3 years, and the Pequod is underway in the open ocean, Captain Ahab tells all of them that their mission for this voyage is not the usual mission for a whaling vessel.
Under normal circumstances, a whaling ship would go out, hunt whales, get as much blubber as they could, and basically go home.
That's right. So, but Ahab tells the crew that their job is to get revenge on Moby Dick, and that is it. So, in a famous scene, he nails a gold doubloon, a gold coin, to the mainmast of the ship, and it's a reward for the sailor that spots Moby Dick.
And the whole crew goes along with Ahab's plan, except for Starbuck. He's sort of the moral voice of reason of the book, and he's the only one to resist.
And we're going to hear a little bit about him more later. But there's a lot more that we could say, but for now, let's just cut to the chase, shall we?
They eventually find the whale, and well,
the book is 150 years old. I don't think we can really ruin it for anybody.
all right, spoiler alert, they find Moby Dick. He, punctures the ship, and it sinks, and everyone dies.
Indeed. So, everyone except, of course, for Ishmael. So Ishmael survives this shipwreck, and he's rescued by another vessel, and of course he's the one that writes the story for us all to read now.
So that's everything you need to know about the book, but Doug, tell them a little bit about how the show came to be.
Indeed. So I first read Moby Dick about 2 years ago, and like a lot of contemporary readers, I found myself getting a little lost, maybe a little bored, especially at those beginning chapters. So just to liven things up, I started doing the most 21st century thing I could imagine, and that was to live tweet the novel.
And his first tweet was, "Okay, I will call you Ishmael, #Moby Dick."
Indeed. So as people kind of jumped in on Twitter, it became a lot more fun for me to read the book. I felt like all these people were reading the book along with me, and they'd hate these chapters, and they'd love that chapter, and hey, have you gotten to that chapter yet? And I'd be like, no. It was just a lot more fun to do it that way. So as I got inspired in this way, I wanted to start getting other artists involved. So we started commissioning some other writers to write new pieces of text inspired by different chapters in Moby Dick.
And when Doug asked me to contribute something, I ended up writing something about my divorce.
When I asked a New York poet named Anthony Corelli, he wrote about a poem about a whale that washed up on the shore in Florence, Oregon, and exploded in 1970. We'll tell you a little bit more about that.
When you asked Terry Hummer, he ended up writing something about what it's like to be a father.
That's right. So Moby Dick is really a giant, sprawling book. My version is about 536 pages long, but the actual plot would only take maybe 100 pages. What I want you to know is that now that we've brought all this new work about the book is even bigger.
And it's okay at this point if you haven't read it.
That's right. After all, half the fun of book club is just hearing what your friends have to say.
So the first piece is by Doug, and it's based on that short essay by Terry Hummer, who's also a poet. And in this piece, Terry takes the moment when Ishmael climbs to the top of the mast, and he's just swaying back and forth, and it's extremely dangerous, and it's this really beautiful yet precarious feeling. And this is the same feeling that he attributes to fatherhood, the fact that he, adores his daughter, but he can't ever really protect her from danger.
Out of nowhere, the night pitches, scattering spindrift. The rat awakes. The rat is the watcher. He can crawl through the beams, through the planking, from the heights to the depths. The rat can see. What woke the rat is what always does, the fear of a father for the child in the house, the roof beam and mainmast twist in his mind as if racked in a storm, but the night is still, the child is sleeping safe. From his place on the mainmast, he keeps his watch, one hand on the head of the bed and one on his sleeping wife's shoulder. Blackness is static, but for the play of false light on the retinas of the rat, aurora of neurons firing, he stares into the dark that is a true dark and a false dark, darkness visible and darkness invisible. Ahoy, the white rat. The rat is the watcher. The rat is the speaker. I am the white rat. The child in another room is breathing, or is she? And will she be? I stand my watch over the horizon that is everywhere. I am its center, I am nowhere. She will not die, but if she dies, if the house runs aground, if the seams split, if we whelm in the overwhelming, who is she, this cargo? I plucked her from this very darkness and brought her aboard. There are others out there too, waiting to be netted. I must watch for them. If my vigilance fails, there is no recourse. They will be swept beyond my reach into eddies of traffic, suburban undertow, all my unborn, my future cargo, my care. I am the watchman. I am the rat. Fathoms of darkness draw me into reverie. I stand on a narrow platform high above the house ship. The marriage bed is my station. One misstep and I am no one. And then who will stay the vigil, save my born and unborn rattlings, my cargo? So it is, and so it has always been. Neanderthal and ancient Egyptian fathers stood their watch, their children hidden away in secret caves, in chambers, in pyramids. Did you think those monuments were for the dead? And I am in that lineage, here in my darkened consciousness. I must not fall. Somewhere in the house my daughter breathes. Yes. Does she dream? And in the basement, the mad captain stokes the firebox. He sweats in the night, his face a flicker, not from flame. He is my other self, my mad mind, and in the darkest corner beyond him, invisible, the rat is waiting. My third self, witness, watcher, rat soul. If the captain is the god of this vessel, I am his rat. I am the rat of my daughter. I am the rat of God.